In my previous video, I talked about recognizing the importance of recognizing your emotions and your fears. Without recognition of your emotions and fears, what happens is that you end up suppressing what you're feeling, you end up suppressing what you are afraid of. And why is it important for you to recognize your emotions and your feelings? This emotions is energy. Energy is a gauging factor of how are you feeling or where you're at, where you're going. Everything is energetic. Emotions is all about energy, energy and motion, right? So, whatever you're feeling is going to help you gauge if you are being you, you are living the life that you actually want to live, right? Because whenever we're feeling happy, whenever we're feeling joyful, whenever we're feeling at peace, whenever we're feeling content, it tells us that we're living the life that we want to live. And that is the whole point of life. Life is about experiencing the life that you want to experience. So without recognition of your emotions, you will not recognize yourself. You won't recognize where you're at in life. You won't know where you're at in life. You won't know that you're what you're experiencing. And again, life is all about experience. So this video is about how suppresses judgment of your emotions and judgment of your fears suppresses your emotions and suppresses your fears, right? If we're not recognizing our emotions, if we're not recognizing our fears, then we don't know what we're feeling. We don't know what we're afraid of. So why do we not recognize our feelings? Why do we not recognize our emotions? Why do we not recognize our fears? What we're afraid of? Is it because it's because of our judgments of our own self? We don't want to feel these things, especially if we're living a life that's unpleasant, especially if we're living a life that we don't want to experience. If we don't want to experience something, we tend to suppress it. We don't want to experience something that doesn't feel pleasant. We don't want to experience something that doesn't feel peaceful. We don't want to experience something that feels joyful, happy to us. So we end up suppressing those parts of us. We end up suppressing that energy, which helps us gauge what life we want to experience. We end up suppressing our fears because we don't want to face our fears. So we end up hiding away from them, or we end up running away from them, which affects our behaviors, like affects our habits. And when our habits and our behaviors is affected, when our actions are affected, our life is affected. We end up living an experience of life that we don't want to experience. And again, we end up suppressing those parts of us because we don't want to experience that. And this comes around through judgment. We judge ourselves. We shouldn't be feeling those things, unpleasant feelings. We shouldn't be feeling sadness. Sadness is a weakness. Anger is a weakness. Anger is evil. Anger is bad. Sadness is bad. Depression is bad. Grief is bad. So we end up judging ourselves through that lens. We end up judging our energy. We cannot judge our energy. because judgment suppresses and ends up suppressing what we need to feel, and judgment ends up suppressing what we need to face. it, it's okay to be afraid, it's okay to feel sad. That's part of the experience. We don't want to judge our experience. An experience is just an experience. That's the gift of life. The gift of life is experience life itself in any form. The gift of life is to feel all energies moving through you. So when we judge what we're feeling, we're not experiencing, we end up not experiencing what we need to experience. Because again, emotions is to help us guide us through our path through life. Right? We end up judging all these feelings. And we as humans, we don't like judgment. We don't like to be judged. Let me ask you a question. Do you like to be judged? That's the reason why you're running. You're running away from judgment. Human beings are not meant to be judged. Unless you want to experience judgment. And when you experience judgment, you start to judge yourself. That's what society teaches us. Society teaches to judge others. And in turn, other people suppress their emotions because of it, because they don't want to be judged by what they're feeling. They don't want to be judged by their fears. So they end up suppressing their fears, end up suppressing what they're feeling. And you can never suppress your energy. You can never suppress what you're afraid of. It only transforms into that energy only transforms into something else. It transforms into habits and behaviors that go against what we want to experience. It transforms into actions that go against what we want to experience in life. That is what judgment of our emotions, judgment of our fears. That's what happens when we judge ourselves. Because no human being wants to be judged. That is part of our fear. No human being wants to be judged by unpleasant emotions. So we suppress them. So what I said in my last video, so when you are recognizing your emotions and you're recognizing your fears, what you're afraid of, just recognize them in a neutral state. Recognize them without judgment. Recognize that this energy exists. Recognize that your fears exist. They just exist. They're not bad, they're not good. They exist. And they tell you, they show you what you are experiencing. That is important. You need to know what you're experiencing in life because it helps you along your path. Just recognize that whatever you're feeling, your emotions, they exist. You have to recognize their existence without judgment again. It's not good or bad. Sadness is not good or bad. Anger is not good or bad. It is just an energy. Depression is not good or bad. It is just an energy state. It is just an energy state. An energy state helps you gauge what you're experiencing in life. Thank you for watching this video.